Okay, parenting strategies. This is one I get asked about a lot. When the child is a bit oppositional, is defiant, regardless of the age, um, what can parents do? Now, of course, I'm oversimplifying, and sometimes these things just get out of hand, and it's difficult to change things without appropriate support. So, in those situations, of course, um, involving a family therapist could be helpful. A family therapist can work with members of the family or more than one member of the family at the same time, and they can really promote that healthy communication within the family and be that sort of objective mediator to promote these healthy dynamics. But in general terms, there are a few things that you as parents can do to improve things. Be a good role model. That's the first thing. I know it sounds obvious, but for example, you're trying to get your son or your daughter to spend less time on devices. But then if you all the time you're on your phone and checking your emails and doing things, you're you're sending the wrong message and you create some discrepancy in the message that is transmitted, passed on to your son or to your daughter. So that is the first thing. Second, and it's really important, spend time with your child. If it's a little one, you just spend time with them on the floor playing with no judgment, with no comments on, oh, you should really be doing this, or you should be doing your homework or doing that. No, just spend time with them. Could be 10 minutes, could be just doing a puzzle, doing something else. That is very, very important. Three is to, between the two of you, as in mom and dad, you need to agree a shared plan in advance, not discuss it in front of your child. So, for example, if you're discussing how much time your child can spend on devices or watching TV, playing video games, you first decide, okay, he or she can have half an hour a day on his video games. And then, fourth, very important, you stick with that plan, both of you, because there's nothing worse than discrepancy in the messages the two parents send to the child. So when you have the bad cop, good cop situation, it can really exacerbate the bad behaviors. So the situation where maybe mom is the strict one that says, no, you must come off your video games, and then dad is the one who gives in and says, ah, no, it's fine, just have another half an hour. That is not healthy because it creates a big discrepancy in the message that your child receives. And lastly, you really need to make sure you enforce, you apply that rule that you have set up beforehand. So when half an hour video game is up, your child needs to come off video games. Will he moan about it? Yes. Will he scream and shout? Very likely. But you need not to give in, because if you argue and argue and argue and argue, and in the end, after 15 minutes of arguments, you just give in and tell your child, okay, have another half an hour, that will unconsciously reinforce in his or her brain the fact that if they moan strong enough, they will have what they want. So there's nothing worse than having a rule set up and then not sticking with it. Be patient. That's the last thing. These sort of changes take time. They won't change things overnight, but they do help, even if they're simple things. So I feel your pain, but be consistent, be patient, thing will change. I hope this is helpful.